Hello, welcome to the Voice of Todd. I'm Tom, and today I thought we'd talk about the latest episode of The Mandalorian. We are currently on Season 2, Episode 3, which is Chapter 11, The Heiress. I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. I don't want these to run on forever like they feel like they have been doing. So I'm not going to recap the episode. I'm just going to touch on what were my highlights and then finish up with what I think sort of about the episode and where it's going to go. So, provided that you're watching this and have seen the episode already, and there will be spoilers, you are warned. Let's just jump straight in and talk about the biggest thing in the episode for me, and probably a lot of fans. Katie Sackhoff, Bo-Katan, is officially here. She's been rumoured, I think, before everything started filming. It makes sense. She was a Dave Filoni character from his two previous shows, Rebels and Clone Wars. And, Katie Sackhoff, incredible actress. I know and love her as Starbuck. She's done some great things since. And it's great to have some more big names in a series like this. With the introduction of her, that brings in a couple of other Mandalorians as well. Really cool to see them using the jetpacks and blasters, and this episode was just brilliant. There's so much action, just fantastic. I loved it. I absolutely loved seeing them together and how they worked with Pedro's Mandalorian. There was the nod to him and his creed never removing their helmets, whereas Bo-Katan and her retinue do. And it turns out that our main Mandalorian is part of a creed who splintered off, like a zealot creed, who wanted to bring back the old ways. And it mentions, or it touches on, the idea of Mandalore the Ultimate. KOTOR reference again, from the war between the Jedi and the Mandalorians that's prefaced before KOTOR, but is heavily linked into the game. Really cool to see. I think they said that he was part of the Children of the Watch. Really cool. Really nice little bit of detail to why Mandalorians function differently in different elements of Star Wars. Really nice to get this stuff fleshed out. We also got the passenger and her husband being reunited. Really nice, touching scene. Bearing in mind that these guys are both in mocaps, both in prosthetics or mocap suits or whatever. It just felt real. The emotion was there. The music was great. I thought the whole intro actually was brilliant. Them trying to land the ship, very Firefly-esque with the landing sequence, and then trying to land in there safely and getting blown off course and crashing in the water. Really good. I enjoyed it. A great way to start. Different tone. I love that these episodes are continuing on from each other, and they feel like they're just all pulling in the right direction and continually flowing forward, which is brilliant. There was a couple of shots in this. The cinematography in this episode was great, and the action sequences were great as well. There was a couple of shots that I just thought were spectacular and probably the best in both series so far. The first one with the trawler being destroyed by the three Mandalorians and them jetting off in the distance with the sun on the right hand side setting with the orange glow. Absolutely beautiful shot. Just stunning. For me, that was topped by really what this episode was about. And there is a scene where our Mandalorians, so the four of them, are flying out towards an Imperial cruiser to hijack it, steal the weapon shipments, and ultimately the ship. There's a shot of the back of the cruiser jetting through the atmosphere, the lower atmosphere, ready to leave the planet and break orbit. And the four Mandalorians were using the jetpacks to catch up. Just brilliant. That was such a great scene for me. I don't know why it just blew me away. That's two scenes in this episode, some of the best that we've seen, I think, in Star Wars. Definitely in The Mandalorian. But overall, the episode was great. I did like the Imperial element. Had an Imperial captain played by Titus Welliver who looked and just seemed the perfect Imperial officer. Moff Gideon shows up, shows how ruthless he is and his followers are, which doesn't bode well for our heroes. But it's bringing that back into that idea. Bo-Katan is trying to reunite Mandalore still. She wants her Darksaber back. That seems to be where this series is hopefully pushing. That's the Mandalorian that I want to see. We do also get Ahsoka Tano name dropped. Looks like that's where our Mando is heading to next, to give the child over to her or the Jedi. We don't know what that entails, how much Jedi there is, but Ahsoka Tano seeming to be, hopefully in the next episode, maybe in this season definitely, but maybe in the future. But it's shaping up really well. There was one low point for me, which was actually laugh out loud stupid. The eggs, the passengers' eggs from the last episode, they have hatched. They've been fertilized, obviously, and hatched into tadpoles, and then at the end of the episode we see Baby Yoda with the passenger and her husband playing with one of the newborn frog-like creatures, and it just looked like a bit of rubber on a stick with somebody under the table wiggling it around. It looked terrible, just absolutely terrible. Beyond stupid terrible. Which I did laugh at. It's a shame because the production values are so high on this that just stood out to me. But that's the only drawback to this episode was how stupid that looked. I think it's great that we get this big action-packed episode. There was quite a few spectacular set pieces in this. Funnily enough, directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, who did an incredible job. Cinematography was great as well. They obviously had a vision for this. Had a slightly different tone. It was a shorter episode. It was only 30 minutes long. I think they're usually around 40 to 45. One issue with The Mandalorian last season as well I had was that the episode timing was all over the place. It doesn't seem structured in that way. They just seem to fill however much time and cut it. Which I suppose serves the story. If you don't want to be bloating episodes out, you don't have to, but I feel like, while it was an excellent episode and it went quickly because it was half an hour long and I would have loved seeing more. But the action was great. I would love to see so much more Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan. Can we get a series, maybe, if it's not explored in this, can we get a series of her leading Mandalorians to reclaim the homeworld from the Empire or the remnants of the Empire? That would be pretty special. I'd love to see that. That's really about it. So much happened. There was quite a lot of nods to story elements. Feels like they're fleshing out things, but with it being such a short episode and most of it being action, there's not really a lot to talk about. I would like to see next episode pushing the story further forward, which I think is key to keeping, if we're going to have shorter episodes like this, we need to keep the momentum going and really pushing hard. Hopefully we get Ahsoka Tano next episode and we get to see some lightsabers. Would be really cool. I don't necessarily know how, with everything that and how Rebels left things, which I know is set before the original trilogy. So we've got 10 years have passed, something like that, between the end of Rebels and the start of Mandalorian Season 1. So I'm very interested to know what Ahsoka Tano is doing, how she's here. I feel like that could be an episode in itself, just telling you the backstory there. Might also be that people don't know who Ahsoka Tano is. She's not been in any of the live action stuff. The same with Bo-Katan. I think they did a great job in telling you who she was and what she was doing. But I think this series is going from strength to strength. We had a great season opener with Timothy Olyphant. Last week was a much quieter with the spiders and the ice planet. We still got a few people in there, but now with Katie Sackhoff in and Ahsoka Tano, I believe, is going to be played by Rosario Dawson, starting to bring some names into this to go alongside Pedro as the main character. Maybe we're going to start to get some more of this fleshed out as well. I'd love to see Gina Carano back, maybe even Carl Weathers. We haven't seen any of them. There's not been any reference to them so far. We're 3 episodes in now. We've not had anything from the core 3 of the series for me. It feels a little strange. I'd like to get more of them involved. Hopefully we can get to that point. But yeah, it keeps going from strength to strength. Really impressed. Really enjoyed it. Looking forward to seeing where we're going to go with the Ahsoka Tano revelation. And she was name dropped, so we know it's her. Oh, it's being set up that it's her. But I'm really enjoying this series. I feel like I need to go back and watch series 1. I may be being a bit hard on it. And I think maybe after the end of season 2, I will go back and watch season 1 and 2 together and just see how I feel about them then. I mean, this is definitely one of the most enjoyable things to watch at the minute. But that's it. So I'm going to end this one. There's not a lot to say about this one, really, aside from lots of action. It was great. The cast was amazing. And that's it. So hopefully this new style works better for you guys. Let me know in the comments. And I will hopefully see you in the next one.